here with Reaction. 2016 GOP frontrunner Donald Trump is with us. His latest poll numbers have him at 37% and apparently a very scared Republican establishment. How are you, sir?
Hi, Sean.
Sad, isn't it?
It's pathetic. It's pathetic. We have a president that doesn't even want to talk about the problem, and you're not going to solve the problem unless you're willing to talk about it. Something's going on with him, and I guess a lot of people don't know, but something's in that mind, and this is incredible. You look at what's happening in this country generally, but that he can't even use the proper term is horrible.
At this point, all evidence appears that he was radicalized. The trip to Saudi Arabia, the fact that we have even CNN of all places, and you're right, they have not been particularly nice to you, but even they are now telling us that, in fact, not only he traveled to Saudi Arabia, but he has these terror links, that he had been in communication with a variety of people that were suspected terrorists. So all the evidence points in this direction. We don't have finality on this, but it should be stated as the number one investigative area that they're in.
Well, Sean, I've been saying vigilance. We have to practice great vigilance, whether it's a mosque or any place else. We have to be vigilant, and we're not. It almost sounded like his wife had something to do with the radicalization. But whatever it is, it's not a good situation, and we have a president that doesn't want to admit it, and nobody knows what's going on with him.
Well, it raises questions, too, about the immigration issue.
Right.
One thing nobody seems to be willing to talk about, you talk about it, I talk about it. If you grow up in Saudi Arabia, and we're told this 28-year-old woman is a Qatari woman, if you grow up and what you have been indoctrinated into, the culture you have been brought up in, tells you that women can't drive cars. Women must, again, they went to Saudi Arabia. This is where women can't drive cars, can't be seen in public without a male relative. Under Sharia law in some countries, you need 4 male eyewitnesses for rape. So if you grow up, how do we ascertain somebody that wants to come to America from a country that they've grown up in that has laws like this? And how do we reconcile whether or not they come here wanting to bring their laws with them or whether they want to, in fact, become American citizens and assimilate? You can't determine what's in somebody's heart, can you?
Well, I think it's ingrained. You look at the Boston bombers, the guys that did that horrible, horrible act during the Boston Marathon. The one of them was really young. The other was young. And they became radical. Something happened to them over a period of time, but they became something that was very evil, and it happened very quickly. And you wonder, how does this happen? But one of them was a very, very young person.
Yeah.
And you see the damage they've done. This is why I've been saying we cannot take the people from Syria as much as we want to, because from a heart standpoint you want, and let's help out and let's get a lot of other people to put up the money, because they have plenty of money in the Gulf states and a lot of money over there. And we don't, because we're a debtor nation. But we got to help, people. But how can we take in thousands and thousands of people when we have no documentation and nobody, Sean, knows who they are or where they come from?
And it's
who knows what we're getting?
And our National Director of Intelligence, James Clapper, our FBI Director, James Comey, our Assistant FBI Director, the General in charge of strategizing, putting together American strategies against ISIS, have all warned us that ISIS will, in fact, infiltrate the refugee population. They have warned us that in fact, the very thing that happened in Paris is coming here. And we have a president that seemingly is willing to gamble with the lives of American citizens, even after what happened in San Bernardino and what happened in Paris. It is inexplicable to me, Mr. Trump. I don't understand it. He doesn't recognize, as you said yesterday, the Islamic State is our number one threat.
Sure, we have a president that doesn't have a clue, or worse. I mean, it could be worse than that, but I tend to, I like to have positive thoughts. The positive thought is that he doesn't have a clue. Okay, worse than that gets to be pretty sinister. But it's impossible to think that a man can be so naive and that can't use terminology that everybody else all over the world is using. And you look at what's happening, and you look at what's happening to Paris. Before the event, the horrible event that took place. By the way, if somebody had guns in that room, the event would have never happened to that extent, at least. But they had no guns. Paris is one of the tough gun places of the world, as you know, and you can't have guns. And so they were just like sitting ducks. It was disgusting. But if they would have had guns, it would have been, if a few of the people in that room had guns, it would have been a whole different story. But when you look at Paris, the real Paris, it's not Paris what you read about and like you saw in the movies from years ago. Paris has sections where the police don't even want to go there. They don't even want to go there because it's so rough and so dangerous.
But, by the way, you're talking about no-go zones, which I have interviewed people that have confirmed and corroborated this many times. It's almost like this Guzman report on CBS that proved your point that there was celebrations by some Muslims in New Jersey. And still people, even after seeing the report, reading the Washington Post, the AP, the Star-Ledger, and all the other people that have confirmed and collaborated your point, they still won't recognize it.
Well, I've had hundreds of phone calls. We've had at Real Donald Trump. We've had tweets all over the place of people that said they were there. I mean, they were actually there and they saw it. And everybody knows. And then you had Chris Christie said it didn't happen. Well, he knows it happened. And you had plenty of people. And you look all over the world. It happened all over the world, big time. But I was very happy to see not only that report, but other reports, including Dan Rather and others. So it's been confirmed. Now, I could have given that up very easily. People said, would you apologize? I said, I'm not apologizing. You had a tremendous, disgusting, number of events over there. Plenty of people. And I'm glad I didn't apologize, by the way. I wouldn't do that because I knew I was right. And I appreciate you bringing it up. A lot of people don't like to talk about it so much now.
I actually like to get to the bottom of things and get to the truth of things. And we did a whole hour on it right here on this radio program. By the way, I want to remind our audience, if you are in New York today and you're listening to 710 WOR, or if you're in New Jersey or any surrounding areas, you're going to be doing a live online book signing.
Right.
So it's actually going to be, people can actually watch you and listen to you as you're doing it. There's a website that they have set up for you. It's called livesigning.com.
Right. Log on to livesigning.com.
And then apparently, I guess people will get your new book about making America great again.
And I actually sign it, and they send the book right away. But I'll actually sign it, and it's a really cool thing. I've never even heard of it before. The book company, who have been fantastic, they are doing this. It's like doing a book signing, but all over the world. People can do this, and I sign the books, and they send them to right away. And it starts at 7:30. It's from 7:30 till 9. And we'll sell a lot of books. The book has been doing great, Crippled America. But it's livesigning.com, and it's from 7:30 till 9. And I appreciate you mentioning that. I'll be there from 7:30 till 9 o'clock.
And then you'll be on with me tonight at 10 o'clock on the Fox News Channel, which we're always glad to have you back on. Look, the race keeps getting better and better for you. And we see that Dr. Carson has kind of dropped off quite a bit in the latest poll numbers. There is a surge of Senator Ted Cruz and Senator Marco Rubio. You were joking the other day that probably if Senator Cruz keeps surging, you're going to have to attack him, but you don't want to. I asked Senator Cruz about it. He started laughing. But this race, you have been able to maintain this lead in spite of...
actually increase it. My lead.
Well, I increase it. That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't want to sell you short.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, it's actually been increased very substantially, and we're doing phenomenally. A big poll comes out, I guess it's tomorrow or soon, from CNN, and we'll see how that comes. But I feel very confident in the polls. Wherever we speak, I get the biggest audiences by far bigger than Bernie Sanders or anybody else. And there's a lot of spirit out there. They see very stupid people leading us, and they're tired of it. They're tired of being the stupid people. I mean, we're like the country that's laughed at with our president talking global warming instead of ISIS. And I mean, where he actually said that global warming is our biggest threat. It's just, and these people want to blow up our country and blow up our cities. It's just incredible. We have to get him out. Thank goodness it's only another year.
Oh, I don't think we can survive, to be honest. By the way, Jeff Zucker at CNN responded and said no to your request that they donate $5 million to charity, or you might boycott the event. Have you decided what you're going to do?
Well, the problem is that if I do that, I would get them. In my opinion, I would. The problem is I'm leading by a lot. If I don't do it, the other candidates, and this wouldn't be true because I think I won all 4 debates according to every poll, Drudge and Time Magazine, every poll, online polls where they do a thing on the debates. I've won every online poll, and it's sort of interesting. But here's the problem: if I want to play tough guy and hold out, I think I might win. I might not win. I don't know. Maybe, I want the money to go to the Wounded Warriors. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for the Wounded Warriors or for the vets. But if I hold out to say, oh well, he didn't have the courage. I mean, I've already done 4 debates and done great in them. But they're saying they'll say he didn't have the courage. He was chicken. When you're leading by a lot, you don't want to have somebody saying he was chicken. Okay, and the last person that's chicken is me. So I think they should make a contribution, but I don't think when you're leading by so much and doing so well, I don't think I want to take chances that people will be persuaded that I didn't want to do the debate for other reasons. Does that make sense to you?
It makes a lot of sense, and I think you've thought through it pretty well. I totally get it. Let me ask you, did you see the 7-page memo that was put out by the Republican Party about the things that they would like to duplicate that you are doing successfully, and then the things they want to avoid that you're doing? I thought it was pretty amusing, and I'm sure you've been reading these reports that a bunch of rich Republican donors met at, I guess, a restaurant at a Bel Air hotel, and they would maybe consider sending their support to Hillary because they don't like your insurgency candidacy. What's your reaction to that?
Well, they're jealous people, and, frankly, I know probably some of them, and I won't forget it. But they're jealous people, and, they like candidates. I'm not taking anybody's money, okay, other than the small donors, the $25, $100 donors, because that's a beautiful thing to see when they, send in $100 or they send in something. But I'm essentially self-funding my campaign. Not even essentially. I mean, I'm going to be putting up a lot of money, and I've already put up a lot of money. So, they don't like that because they want, I will tell you, I've turned down people, I can't take your money, and millions, and then they went to somebody else because they want to invest. They're like gamblers, okay? They want to invest in somebody's campaign. The problem is they'll have total control over that person. So when Jeb Bush or when any of these guys, any of them, take money. They are totally controlled. And it's, by the way, every single candidate except for me is taking money. I mean, Jeb raised $125 million from many people I know, and they can't back me. And I just talked to a group and I said, the thing is, I don't need your money. I like your support, but I don't want your money. And the truth is that, they go to other people because they want to give money. They're like gamblers.
Let me ask you this last question.
I haven't seen that report, but I fully understand it.
I want to remind people, by the way, Donald Trump is doing an online live book signing, 7:30 to 9 tonight, and you can watch it at livesigning.com and get an autographed copy. Last question for you. It created quite a controversy. You talked about attacking the terrorist families. I don't know what's so controversial about it myself. Maybe I just have a tougher position on terror than other people, but if you're a radicalized family, I think it's all fair play.
Look, when the
And I assume you're talking about abroad too, right?
Yes, totally. When the animals ripped down the World Trade Center, when they blew it up disgustingly, just before they did the attack, they sent their wives back to Saudi Arabia, most of it. Most of them went back. I hear other than one, but they went back to Saudi Arabia. They took their wives out to the airport. They put their wives on airplanes. They sent them back. Every one of those wives knew exactly what was going to happen. And I'm sure they wanted to be back in time to watch their husband throw planes into the World Trade Center or the Pentagon, etc. They knew everything that was happening. I would take them out. And you know what? The only thing they'll understand is that. Now, I happen to think that they care more for their own life than a lot of people say. They don't want to be killed, but they get killed. They're in a dangerous business. But frankly, those wives knew. Every one of those wives knew. And it always amazed me that we didn't go in and get that. Yeah. So I feel fine about that. I think probably you feel fine about that.
I feel fine about that. I feel fine about taking the oil. Did you hear Mike Morrell? They didn't bomb the oil fields because they didn't want to create environmental damage.
Oh, I heard that. No, I heard they didn't want to create environmental pollution, so they didn't bomb the oil fields. So ISIS can continue getting millions of dollars.
The lifeblood of their terror organization. But I got to run, and you're going to be with us tonight on Hannity,
yes,
10 Eastern.
I am.
Right after you'll do a live book signing online at livesigning.com, and you can get autographed copies, 7:30 to 9. Mr. Trump, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Take care of yourself.